Thank you.
Okay, good.
Take two.
So, we've spent some time working on the first two, the M and the A. So we're into ma. Sorry. All right, giggle. We have spent some time on the welcome and the greeting, right? Remember that?
Yep.
We just went through that a few minutes ago, right? And on how to make an authentic connection with people. You're the person who's calling in or that you're reaching out to, and how to relationship build. So these two are very focused on what? What did I just say?
Relationship build.
Exactly. So we're not getting necessarily into the issue resolution or even the reinforcing the relationship yet. We're still in the relationship building phase. So focusing on that, I would like somebody to play the customer who, as you can see from the picture on page 46, is rather maybe upset, all right? So he's calling into a pizza place, and who would be willing to play the customer?
I can do the
All
customer.
right, thank you very much, and I will be the employee. Go for it.
You promised my pizzas would be here by 6 o'clock.
Well, now I guess it looks like 7 o'clock.
But people will be leaving by then.
Well, we're working on it.
Why does it take you people so long to get my pizza delivered?
Sir, your order was taken in the order it was called in.
I have 25 hungry 8-year-olds here.
We'll get it to you.
You're not listening to me.
Yes, I am. I said I'll get the pizzas to you as soon as I can. Okay, y'all, so thank you very much. I appreciate you playing that role.
Performance.
Exactly. So we've already spent some time rating, right? Now I want you to think on a scale of 1 to 10 for yourself, how would you rate the customer service person in this interaction? In terms of the quality of service that they provided.
She did not provide any service.
Okay,
She did not.
okay. And how are you defining service that was not provided? Just so I have some sense of why that's like a 0 or a 1.
Why, yeah, it's 0, 1, whatever you want to call it. Because she did not address his concern at all. She
Okay.
just basically said, no.
Okay, so service in your experience is addressing a concern.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's got to be a yes in there somewhere.
Okay, terrific. That's great. So going, back to mindset, because we were talking about that before, this is Amber's, a filter on service,
Yes.
and which makes a lot of sense to me. So that's great. What did you rate?
I rate it as a 1.
As a 1, okay.
Yeah.
And why for you?
She didn't assist them in any type of way.
Okay.
She just shot him down each time.
Yeah. And how would you guys describe the experience, the employees' responses to the customer? They were just kind of what?
Well, he just got more and more upset.
Well, the employees' response.
Oh, the employee's response.
Yeah, because the customer clearly, came with,
Right, with a certain amount of energy.
yes,
Is that
thank
how
you. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that energy was about,
The pizzas were late.
yeah?
Okay, so
And go
the
ahead.
employee's responses were, she was rude.
Rude was your experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And the impact that had on the customer?
He was frustrated, upset,
Uh-huh.
angry.
Mm-hmm.
He has all those kids there, and he's not able to feed them.
Did she make it any better for him at all, 1 iota?
I know she didn't.
Mm-hmm. So how likely is it that this person would return to get pizza from this? Assuming he actually gets pizzas tonight at some point, like 8:30 after all the kids left. Do you think that he'll ever?
No.
Not,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
No.
not likely.
So is it true that, going back to our conversation earlier about indifference, does this kind of begin to prove that point in a pretty serious way about the fact that if you really are not just kind of flat in terms of how you're responding to the customer, remember that whole number that 68% of the people are going to leave if they experience that you are indifferent to what they're really concerned about? Well, I mean, does this prove that point for you?
Yeah,
Or not?
even more. I mean, you played that part very well, and so it really came across as rude, even having some energy to shutting him down.
Mm-hmm.
So even kind of beyond that indifference, it felt beyond
Okay.
indifferent to me.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's probably true. I put a little extra emphasis, so I wasn't just flatlining it, I actually fell below the line as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, that's really true. Exactly, so it went from indifference to rudeness, yeah, I would agree. Okay, good. One of the main points really that we're wanting to make in this section, and we're going to be listening to this in terms of like what are the qualities of a magic approach, right, and relationship building versus a tragic approach, and those things that separate us from or push us away from the company or the service person, and what are those qualities that they're bringing forth? And one of the main qualities that we as customers tend to look for is, do they even think what I'm saying or what I'm concerned about has any significance at all? And do they care about the feelings I have about the situation? And so given a rating 1 to 10, you went 0 because did this person express any sense that that this person was having a significant experience and that they had feelings about it? It didn't seem to. No, not at all. Okay, good. So turn to page 48, please. And so issues and feelings. So we use problem-solving skills to understand and resolve a customer's issue. So that's, I think, point number 1 here. We use problem-solving skills to understand and resolve a customer's issue. You want to think about why a customer calls us in the first place. Why do customers come to us? Why do we go to people or organizations for anything? I'm sorry?
They're calling because they have an issue
Exactly.
that needs to be resolved.
That's right. Yeah, and organizations come into being to fill a need in society. And customer service people are there to help customers resolve their issues. Yeah, would you agree? Anything different about that? Mm-mm. And then we use problem-solving skills to resolve their issue, to help understand. Then we use empathy to recognize and acknowledge their feelings. Empathy. Anybody hear that word before? Anybody have a sense for what that word is? Because I know I have had to spend a lot of time trying to understand the difference between, we've heard the word sympathy. We see sympathy cards in Hallmark. Mm-hmm. In fact, I've never seen an empathy card in the Hallmark racks. Have you?
I don't think so.
Isn't that funny? Oh my gosh. So we know about sympathy. What is empathy? And I'm always having to refine my understanding of that. So if we can just chew on this a little bit together, that would be.
There's 2 different ways to understand it, and I'm trying to differentiate them. One is to identify with or understand a person's feelings, and the other is to feel to some degree their feelings, and maybe that's kind of close to identifying with them because we've had some similar experience or we've had something we can relate to. It helps us understand how they feel, and I think I get a little confused between empathy and empathic. Meaning, I think an empathic person actually feels another person's feelings. where empathy is more about relating to their feelings. Does that seem reasonable?
Well, that may be. I mean, one is more of, I'm thinking actually in terms of like noun versus verb. Like, so empathic is like a thing. It's a person, and but I honestly, I really don't know the difference between what an empath is. That's versus giving empathy and sympathy. Let's stay with your earlier description. Can you go back to that? Can you say what it is that you said?
Which one was earlier?
You were saying identify versus feel.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And because that other distinction with what an empath is, I don't know. But let's just stay with empathy, giving empathy versus giving sympathy, and that distinction seemed really helpful, at least to me. Did that make any sense to you?
Yes, it did.
Can you repeat it?
I think so. It had to do with identifying with and understanding someone's feelings.
Yeah. And that would be, which one?
Empathy.
Yeah. Identifying, understanding someone's feelings versus, and then you were saying something about sympathy? No.
No,
Oh, okay.
that was you.
Oh, that was me. Anybody have an example of the difference between empathy versus sympathy? I mean, yeah.
Normally with sympathy, like you said, is normally cards there. You're telling them that you basically feel how they feel is normally related to death or something. A lost one, that they had a lost one, and you're giving them a sympathy card saying that I understand how you feel. I feel the same. I feel your loss.
Mm-hmm.
Normally when you express sympathy. And empathy, you're letting them know that, hey, I got you. I understand you. I understand what you're going through. I understand you're frustrated. I understand you're angry, or I can understand the situation you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
More of you understanding with empathy.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting. It really can be such a fine line, can't it? Because, think about the situation that's happening right now in the Philippines. We are not sitting here weeping, okay? We can't really, we can empathize, like we can identify, oh my goodness, the loss, without the home, and all of that. And so if we were to, hear from somebody, we can have a sense for what they're going through, but we're not actually going through it right now. And so, years ago, I used to not have that same differentiation, and I used to cry a lot when I read the newspaper. And, it was, so I think that, and that wasn't so good for me. I ended up overly feeling what I imagined everybody else was feeling. And that was sympathetic. That probably wouldn't have been very useful in a customer service situation where I needed to identify and acknowledge how they're feeling and then begin to move them on from that feeling, but just start where they are. So if we can go with that as a bit of a working definition, does that make some sense so far?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah, because it can be fairly challenging. So once again, please take a look at this onion. And do you know why they put the person in the center? No? Well, because, look at them. What could this possibly be an image of? It's like, here they are, almost trapped inside the situation.
Stinky layers.
Yes, yeah.
What'd you say?
Trapped inside stinky layers.
Stinky layers.
Right.
Like an onion.
Think about when you reached out to an organization. That's good, stinky layers. Think about a time when you were in a stinky situation and you felt somewhat trapped. This person looks trapped to me, and we're reaching out. You had to reach out to an organization or somebody to help you with something, So have you ever been in an accident or in your car and you had to, and you can't go anywhere, you have to call the insurance company right there? Or you have to call the police? Did you ever go through that experience?
Trapped inside a car? No.
If you're, I mean, if you have an accident or if you're in a situation and you actually have to call somebody. And so, and look at all these emotions that are surrounding this. So, I have been in that situation before, and maybe you haven't, okay? And what the insurance agents have been taught to say, which they didn't years ago, because I was in a bad accident years ago, and they didn't ask me the same thing. They basically just started driving me for facts, and I was in shock. As opposed to now, they have gotten more educated, they must have taken magic, and they say, are you okay? That is the very first thing that they do. And then they ask me to describe how, what's the situation, where am I, and am I safe? They ask all of those questions to talk me down first. And they ask me to describe my situation so that they know that I'm safe, as opposed to driving me for facts. And there's a really interesting distinction, it's like, here's the facts up here, and imagine this is like, water, and below the surface is basically, there's always something else going on. And I'll tell you what, as customer service folks, our job is first to address them here. They may come at us with this, they may not be able to identify this, but we have to understand this is what's happening under the surface all the time. And so they may come to us with an issue, and we have to be wise enough to address them at the level of feeling. And if you look here, this helps us do some of that. Magic helps us do some of that. Any questions about that? Once again, communicating significance and communicating feelings, and that we know that they're having feelings. That will buy us relationship. That will buy us relationship. So let's take a look for a moment at page 49. And I would like to, I'll read this out loud to you. Empathy is the expression through body language, tone, and words that you understand how significant an issue is to a customer and how he is impacted by it or how he feels about it. So it's pretty much a repeat, right, of what we were saying. And for instance, if the customer expresses feelings, frustration, anger, sadness, happiness, then acknowledge their feelings with body language, tone, and words that show you heard and understood his emotions.
You know what strikes me as different about this
No.
than my definition or what we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Is that this also acknowledges acknowledges the right word, how the customer is impacted.
Yeah.
Which is not just a feeling, but
Yeah.
how
Mm-hmm.
the situation is impacting the customer. I
Yeah.
think that's really important.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And so, is that, can you hear the difference in before when I said I was just in an accident and I'm calling them and, and that instead of them saying, what's the address, they're saying, are you okay? Da, da, da. They're asking me a series of questions, and so they're finding out about impact. What has happened, all of that. What do you need? They're asking me a series of questions. Does that start to get at that?
No, I was just making a comment that
Mhm.
that part of it, I highlighted it because it was a new way of thinking about it for me.
Yeah, the impact on them.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. Yep, thank you. Please take a look at these examples of empathy expressed. Now, this is a really important part of things in terms of what's going to be expected from us. And you want to start to think about times when you've had positive experiences when you called for help. Because essentially that's what a customer service call is. It's in some ways a call for help. I would like to suggest that you turn to a partner and have one person be somebody who's upset about something. And I would like for the other partner, partner B, to just simply practice because with some of these phrases, because empathy is a muscle that we must exercise. And so, I mean, we can try it now. Who's willing to try it with me from the front of the room?
Okay, I'm gonna act out.
All you're going to do is just, I'm going to say something, and then you can use, so are you willing? Are you willing?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to say something, and then you choose, one or two of these statements, and
Okay.
see how it feels. Just try it on. Just try it on. All right?
Okay.
I have no idea what I'm going to say, so I have to be upset about something. Hold on, let me
Okay.
just think about it. Hi, my car broke down and I need some help.
It sounds like this is urgent. I can help you right now, Ms. Jones.
So what did I just do?
You sighed with relief?
I did. And you know what? That wasn't planned. That was totally natural. And it's because, like, really? I mean, I can, like, lean into that. It's like, wow, I felt really, I felt acknowledged. Just so you know how I felt based on that. Can we try one more?
Okay.
You guys, you just at the dentist's office. You sent me a big bill, and my son just had so many cavities, and I need to talk about this.
I can understand why you would be upset. And I can understand why this is so upsetting.
Thank you. That's it. So how did that feel? Saying that.
No, I didn't say that with feeling. Let me repeat that. Because I was looking for something to say. I can understand why this is so upsetting for you. I can understand why you would be upset.
No, you did it. The first time, you did it. Bruna. It was great.
Okay.
It worked for me.
Okay. I was working it from my end.
What felt like it didn't land for you?
No, I was working it from repeating it for me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, good. You're allowed to do that.
And lets me know that that I can help them and that they feel a little bit more relaxed. That hey, I understand what you're going through. I understand that you're upset because that's the tone that I got from them.
Yeah.
But I'm here to help.
Wow.
I'm going to help you.
Okay. So, you said it gives you a sense of being able to help.
Yes.
Okay.
And letting them know that since that I do understand that
That's
they're
great.
upset and everything.
Great. And you gave me relief. So guess what we just had? A win-win. Okay. So these are weapons. These are positive weapons that you can pull out, They make you dangerous in a really good way as a customer service person, if you think about it, to be able to just use these phrases. And again, we may have to practice with the phrase mechanically at first. And then it starts to become part of us because we see, wow, this actually works. It actually frees me up. So anybody have any comments or questions about what you just observed in the interaction between Renelle and myself?
Now, may I ask a question? Which one of these is works most frequently?
Thank you for asking the question. So what you're
Thank you.
wondering is which of these works most frequently? And you know, the answer that I'm going to offer is that this is not it's not, number one, this is not a checklist. It's not like, you know, I go through here and I just, you know, did I do this? Did I say that? This is like, it has to be authentic to you. So I would invite you to look at this and say, which one are you most likely to pull out, you know, when the heat is high? Does that
Okay.
help? Does that?
Thank
okay.
you.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
So which one, in other words, pick one that I most likely would use
Yes.
most frequently.
Yes.
And that would work most frequently for me.
Exactly. And if you would like to change one of these, then feel free. But it does help to start, I think, with one that is in your back pocket at all times. And I know I could use this at home with my partner when he starts to escalate. So I have to think about, that would be really wonderful. Actually, I'm going to do that before I leave here today. Thank you. That's my commitment to you, just so you know.
So it would be useful for each of us to pick one, not just me, but for each of us to pick one.
Yeah, can you
that
just
might
circle,
best.
would everybody be willing right now to just circle one that you think you might use, or if you want to change one at all? Which one might you most likely use? Actually, I get to do it too. Thank you. Wow.
All work for me in different situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the situation.
Okay. So do you trust yourself to be able to pull one of these out and use it like a ta-da? For me, it's like a trophy. I'm like looking at these like ta-da. I mean, I really want to be able to use, like when my partner states something that's like, "Ugh," you know, and oftentimes I respond not quite as empathetically to him. And if I could just say, I realize how important this is to you. Wow. How he would feel, I think, met and acknowledged and seen, and that it can really create relationship, deeper relationship with us. Anybody else have an offering?
Nope, I feel the same. I can use all of them depending
All
on
of
the
them?
situation.
Okay. Wally?
I am going to use, it sounds like you're upset.
Okay. Thank you.
That's my favorite one.
That's terrific. Okay. Excellent. Excellent job, everybody. Let's go ahead and turn to page 50, please. Could, let me see. In terms of, let's assume that it's one of our major goals to be true professionals. Anybody else there interested in that?
No.
Okay, good. Could you please circle the two most important verbs on this page that in your mind, if you could use these tools, the verbs, to do these things, it would help you be even more professional than you already are?
On the entire page?
Yeah.
On the entire page 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
What stands out? There are clues. It's in different writing.